Okay. Wall of nothing. Yeah, I've got a wall of nothing with health on it. I couldn't find one with vitality yet. So this is 1.1.2. Our first big kill afterward. We'll see how this goes. I'm kind of expecting for us to fail, but, you know, it'd be fun. So they would be dead by now, right? Stand behind the big guy. Don't stand on the line. Give it a shot.
Don't worry about me.
Such wasted potential.
Yeah, my initial impression is that for the lack of defense and for being melee with kind of mid clear speed, this single target's not good enough anymore. It's probably the big takeaway.
Fight for nothing. The void comes.
Also, that damage over time, incredibly deadly. Man, they do love adding damage over time. This void purple thing on the ground might be the scariest thing in the game.
The void hungers.
Oop.
Darkness reigns.
Like I'm a melee build. I have to ramp. The damage is not the problem. It's like, you know, the playstyle, the relative lack of defense, also lack of recovery, right? On the other hand, I genuinely like this boss fight, so like it's cool that I get to participate in it. But yeah, he's standing on that purple stuff right now, which is like, again, probably the most dangerous thing in the game.
Darkness reigns. Weak and worthless. The void comes. We treated the world no better. Death is our legacy. Die. Weak and worthless. Oblivion.
Oof. Oop. This is the last phase, right? That everyone hates?
The void comes.
Maybe I should summon a crab.
For nothing. The void hungers.
I don't have a kill threshold.
Weak and worthless.
Whoa, if I were playing this build post Nerf. Oh, Jesus. Oh, there's ads in this fight? I had no idea there were ads in this fight. There's ads in this fight? Cool. Alright, so that's the damage, huh? Interesting. Hello, YouTube. Okay, so this is post-patch. We're in 1.1.2. This node just got bug fixed. If you haven't seen what the bug fix was, I can detail it to you real quickly in Microsoft Paint because that's a nice way of explaining things because it's fun. So in the node called Shattered Immunity, it looks like there's a damage per poison, a damage per frostbite, and then it looks like they're doubled against high health enemies. So what's actually happening is that there's 4 more multipliers under the hood. It says like it's damage per poison, damage for frostbite, damage per poison, doubled against high health, and then the damage per frostbite doubled against high health. And the issue is not only that there's 4 of these, the issue is that all 4 of these are active, and these having the condition about only working against high health, they're always active. So we have 4 more multipliers that have no conditions instead of having 2 or 2 depending on a condition. So that was the bug that just got bug fixed in patch 1.1.2. We just made it to tier 4 Julra with our gear here. So I'm going to do my single target swap. I'm going to swap into some tier 7 vitality boots, tier 7 vitality chest piece, and this node is the bug fix. Before this bug fix, I could kill Julra before the big explosion went off. So, I probably cannot, but let's see how it goes. Let's see how much damage has been done to the build. I'm gonna boom, 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 boop, boop, like this. Just gonna switch, boop. So I got her to the second breakpoint there. You saw that? Woo! We'll talk about that in just a moment here. You saw my health bar change colors there. The reason that it changed colors is because I have Ravenous Void and I went below my threshold for endurance. So that's the thing that you saw pop there. All right, so let's talk about the build real quick and give you a little rundown of it. First of all, to address things, the damage looks fine. I don't know how it performs on Aberroth because I don't have a Harbinger Eye, but I'll go do that in my own time on twitch.tv/PlayerThePig. What I do want to address is, first of all, the time to kill. There are a lot of players who only started playing Last Epoch in patch 1.0, and in patch 1.0, you had the introduction of Falconer and Warlock. And insane DPS. Absolutely cracked DPS. And as a longtime player of Last Epoch, I want to tell you that the time to kill here, we killed Julra in less than a minute. We killed her before her second explosion went off. We flip-flop for the one explosion, which is a bug, by the way. It'll get bug fixed eventually. Surely they'll bug fix. In any case, we killed her before the second explosion, before she even started channeling the second explosion. And that is good DPS. On the dummy, I get about 6 mil ticks if I'm punching the dummy, which means against bosses we have like 600k because monsters take about like 10% of the damage against dummies. But like dummy DPS 6 mil is very, very good. If I were doing like a bleed or a poison build, I'd be ecstatic if my bleed build got 800,000 DPS. 800k is big DPS. 1 million, 2 million bleed or poison DPS. That is a lot of DPS for a bleed build. For this build, if I can like already get 6 or like 5 or 6 million DPS on the dummy, considering that we don't have particularly good gear, like it's fine, but it's really leaving a lot to be desired in terms of, crit scaling and vitality scaling and whatnot. Like we have 78 vitality. So the damage looks good. However, I pinned a comment on one of my previous YouTube videos, and I responded to only one person because I thought they did something. I think they responded to me well. They said rip build, so rip build, but they also said the build probably is not worth investing into given the level requirements not the level requirement, but the gear requirements for defenses. So at the end of the day, this is a melee build, and you saw against Julra, against tier 4 Julra, she chunked me really, really hard. And this is something that I encourage other content creators or other people who yeet videos up on the YouTube machine. Like, if you want to demonstrate your build, you don't need to do 1000 corruption. What you need to do is take your build to tier 4 Julra and punch her, and you should tank the lasers, the little like towers, like tank the towers, and then when she throws those lightning balls with the big AoE on the ground, tank those. Because a good build, in my opinion, should be able to tank those lasers and recover, and tank those explosions and recover. I would say like a squishy build is one where when like she does like a small, a medium, and a large of those lightning explosions, a squishy build probably wants to avoid or walk away from the big explosion. But like I would say a tanky build just stands there and just punches. And you saw that I had to avoid mechanics, right? I had to avoid things. When the big explosion came, I walked away. When the lasers and a small explosion happened at the same time, I ticked below my endurance threshold. And like, yeah, I've got a lot of endurance. I've got my hide skin thing. I have my my nodes for a cornered beast. And I even have a ravenous void for extra layers of defense when I get low on health. But I don't think I should be taking that much damage. So one of the big differences for like lightning bug, frostbite bug, or even this new serpent bug or venom bug here is we used to have access to aspect of the board damage reduction on melee hit in the Beastmaster skill tree. So that got removed in patch 1.1. It's now been placed above the halfway point, so only Beastmaster has it on melee hit. And man, you know what? I really feel it. So that's one of the big changes. And then of course there's substantial nerfs to the dodge, the infinite dodge scaling that used to exist. Now I'm not spec'd into that, of course, but you know other people could be spec'd into that. So the damage looks fine. I'm gonna go farm up a Harbinger Eye, and I'll go fight Aberroth as well. But I suspect that I'm gonna be feeling just about the same thing, where like my damage is good, but I need to ramp on a boss as a melee character, but I also need to avoid mechanics because I'm a little bit squishy. If I were giga tanky and my damage were exactly the same, if I had access to aspect of the boar and my damage were, 6 mil, I'd call this excellent. I would still recommend this build to you. But the fact that our defenses this entire time, from day one of the build until, post nerf right now, our defenses remain the most suspect part of the build, means that this build is probably not something worth exploring. Which makes me sad because, having mid-tier clear speed, but having mid-tier clear speed, having okay defense, being melee, but absolutely putting bosses in a trash can, I kind of liked it. I think that's like an appropriate thing to do. Like you're kind of mediocre, and then you're absolutely S tier in this one category. But if we're mediocre because we're melee and we have mediocre defense and we have mediocre clear speed, we got good movement speed, I guess. But like, I want to dumpster bosses. And if we're not dumpstering bosses, then we need more defense. And defenses have remained our struggle the entire time. So I think you know where I'm coming from. This is going to be a short video. We'll put this up on YouTube. Hopefully the people who are invested in this build or curious about the build know what my opinion is post-nerf. I'm going to go kill Aberroth. Or die trying. Literally. We'll see you next time.